One dark and spooky evening, a group of young hormonal lads and lasses went on an old country road to an old spooky cabin. On this treacherous trek was Brad, who was so athletically inclined all the girls loved him. Tiffany, with the size of her ego, was the only thing bigger than her personalities. Tony, the coolest guy you'd ever meet. Ladies want him and men, wanna be him. Kimberly, the hottest girl of the whole school, known miles around as a delectable little darling. Virginia, the purest little girl you'll ever meet, saving herself for the one, of course. They were joyous to have a free cabin to spend the weekend, because it was Tony's cousin's cabin, that's why. It was a broken-down shack made of old, soggy wood. I mean, the place just screamed, "Hi, I'm haunted." If I were them, I would have turned right around and went home and cried myself to sleep. It was so scary. Seriously, words can't describe it. It's all like, ooh, scary as shit. It is scary, just trust me. But anyway, these kids were so ready to wet their beaks, they decided to stay. That, and also, because despite being stupid rich, Brad and Tony didn't feel like paying for a Motel 6. I mean, they're not much, but whatever, I'm the dumb one. They exited the car and grabbed their bags. As they opened the door, it creaked so loud, it was all like, creak! The group peered into the dark, dank cabin. Not the fun kind of dank. It's more like your fat, wrinkly smoker aunt who you'd never want to hug but always makes you. They found their way to their rooms and set their things on the asbestos-covered beds. Then a lot of nothing happened, so let's just skip that part. Romantic subplot, yada yada yada. Bring truth to down to get spicy, keep going. Here we are. After Brad and Tiffany shared so sweet mommy and daddy kisses, Tiffany decided to go on a walk in the middle of the woods at night, when suddenly a powerful wind went by, and it was all like swoosh, blue, blue. And almost as suddenly as it appeared, she was pounced on by a vampire and sucked dry of her blood. Though to be fair, she was asking for it. She went out alone in the woods at midnight. That's the evil hour when all the scary things come out. Everyone knows that. But she went anyway and paid for it. Having been an hour since she left, Brad went looking for her, confident he'd be fine since the evil hour passed. See, Tiffany, even Brad knew, and he's like the biggest Dumbo of all, ever. Come on, Tiffany. But I digress. He walked along the makeshift trail, bumping elbows with the willows because they're real jerks, until finally he found Tiffany's dead, dried-up corpse. It was scary. She was all gray and dried up, like a prune was turned into an old person. I don't blame him for running back into the cabin like a big old scaredy cat. He burst into the cabin door, hyperventilating. Virginia awoke from her sleep as Tony and Kim came out of their room. Brad tried to get out what he saw, but he couldn't speak. This went on for several minutes until everyone was all like, "Out with it, man, come on!" To which he replied, "Tiffany's a frickin' dried fruit!" Then suddenly, he went stiff as a wind blew by, and then he fell to the ground to reveal a frickin' vampire behind him. And to sum up the looks on their faces, they read, "By Nixon's cheek flaps, it's a frightening vampire, man." Kim was like, "You a vampire?" To which the vampire kindly replied by showing his knife-like teeth and draining her of all her blood. Then he coolly said, "What do you think?" Then in a shocking turn of events that would shock you, Virginia screamed to the top of her lungs, "That was so hot! I love the way you suck! I'm like, just suck me dry!" It was super embarrassing and awkward, and everyone just kind of looked away, including the vampire. Like, seriously, control yourself, lady. He murdered like 3 of your friends. In fact, that's what Tony said. Seriously, control yourself, Virginia. He just murdered 3 of our friends. Then the vampire rushed over with supernatural speed, blowing a vicious wind about before sucking him dry. All of this as Virginia stood by uselessly, being completely useless. Then she said, "Yeah, suck him dry." The vampire just stopped and was like, "Okay, seriously? The hell is wrong with you, lady? I'm a vampire who ate your friends. Why are you hitting on me? I bet you're not really evil. You're just misunderstood and hungry." Actually, the vampire was like, "I was full after the second friend. I'm just doing this because I feel like it." To which she replied, "I don't believe you. You're super hot. Vampires, so hot. I just want to hug and kiss you and make out with you. despite my promise to only kiss the one I marry. Yeah, that's what she said. After repeatedly just calling him hot, she asked, "What's your name?" And he reluctantly replied, "Norman Bates. No relation to the psycho Norman Bates from the movie Psycho. Just, it happens to be Norman Bates, because my parents were big fans, and the last name is... Whatever, I'm getting... Why are you so crazy?" And she's like, "I'm just so crazy for you." Deciding that this chick was more cuckoo than Buffalo Bill on a sugar rush in a tissue factory sample science lab place, whatever you call it. He decided there was only one course of action. Since he didn't want her blood in him, because, he's afraid to get her cuckoo, he decided to tickle her to death. To which he did. The end. It's not really a happy ending. Deal with it.